Do you want to level up faster at your job? This is going to be a good video for you. Quick context on me: worked at Twitch for 5 years, leveled up all the way to being CEO of my own company not too far after, and I like to think I know what I'm doing. I'm going to share some of the tricks that got me here as fast as I did. The first one, this one's going to be a little controversial, and I know that. Try to get on call. I know that on call is super scary. It's like, what about my work-life balance? What about all of the stuff that you have to do outside of your job? You're just going to volunteer to get called at the middle of the night to go fix things? Yeah. There's no better way to know when things break. At the very least, you should be the first step of on call, or maybe the second, so you're part of the process. But it's so good to see when things go wrong and how they're fixed when they do, especially on bigger teams. So even if you don't feel like you're ready or you're familiar enough with the code base to be on call, push to get on as early as you can and make sure there's a secondary who knows what they're doing. So if you don't figure stuff out fast enough, you can call them on to help and then work with them to learn and do way better. I firmly believe that my involvement on emergencies and in doing on-call stuff is a huge part of how I leveled up as fast as I did. Trick 2 is one that I talk about a lot, but I really want to double down on it here. You don't learn code bases in the code tab on GitHub. You learn code bases in the pull request tab on GitHub. Seeing how code changes and seeing how teams work in a code base, what features are being developed, how are they being developed, what are we working with, and why? Those types of questions aren't answered by reading through every file in the code base starting at the package JSON. Those questions are answered by seeing how the code is changing, how developers are deciding about changes, the conversations around those changes. All of that is what makes a code base what it is, and all of that is how you're going to build the mental map around the code base to be a successful contributor to it. And the more you watch the pull requests, the more you know about how the entire code base and possibly the entire company works, you can very quickly level up from the knowledge you learn from there. You might even be surprised, like leaving a random question about something in a pull request that's not even your team might get you an answer, might get you a conversation. It might help you learn a bunch of things you didn't know before. But I firmly believe pull requests are one of the most underrated learning resources, especially as a new member of a big team or big project. Go hang out in the pull request tab more. Step 3 is the wrong word. Hack number 3, interview more. And yes, obviously I'm talking about doing interviews at other companies to see like where you're at level-wise. I have a few rants about that. But more importantly, do interviews. Be one of the people doing the interviews for your team. If you were good enough to get the job, you're good enough to interview people for it too. And you will learn so much by being on the other side of the table doing interviews. I find many engineers wait way too long into their career, like often 3 to 4 years before they're comfortable doing interviews. And I hate that. I in my first year at Twitch, started doing interviews, and there was a point for a while where I was doing like 10 a day, and it was incredible. I never learned as much as I did during that window about how good of a developer I was, how our bar was set for our team, what expectations were, and generally what makes a good engineer. And learning those things on the other side helps you level up yourself. The more you do interviews on both sides, the more you understand the field overall. Highly, highly, highly recommend talking with your manager to see what it will take for you to be part of the interview process. Even if you're just a shadow because you're so new, they're unsure. Do whatever you can to be in interviews as often as you can, as early as you can, to better understand what we look for in developers. And if you start interviewing, you might be surprised, you'll quickly start interviewing for roles way above where you currently are. I was interviewing people levels above me, even at Twitch when you weren't supposed to be doing that. Those are huge evidence as you try to get promoted yourself. Do interviews, read pull requests, and get on call. And you will be very surprised at how much faster you level up as a developer. Seriously, if you do all of these things, you will probably jump out a junior in a year or less, but you have to be serious about them. Think about it. Good chat as always. Hope you like this video. Check out the video, whatever YouTube's recommending here. YouTube thinks you'll like it, so you probably will. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm amazed at how many of y'all haven't subscribed yet, but seriously, hop on that. I want to break 100K, where it's overdue at this point. Let's make it happen. Thank you all. Think about it. Think about it.